Hi, welcome to Digging to China. I'm Bombshell. Allow me to share a piece of news that has sparked considerable debate and attention in the international mainstream media. This significant political development from China is rather explosive. An exclusive report by the Financial Times on June 15th revealed the story with the headline, Xi Jinping claimed the US wants China to attack Taiwan. Wow, the headline alone indicates how explosive this news is. Xi Jinping has never shared this information with the Chinese public or even within the Communist Party. He only disclosed it to EU President Ursula von der Leyen. Let's see how the Financial Times portrayed this story. During a meeting with the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in April 2023, she reportedly claimed that Washington tried to deceive Beijing into making a military move against Taiwan, but he did not fall for the bait. Sources revealed that she warned the Chinese officials of these US provocations during the same meeting. While the Chinese embassy in Washington declined to comment directly on the Financial Times report, it noted that the US has been selling arms to Taiwan and supporting separatist forces on the island. A spokesperson for von der Leyen stated that she does not disclose details of private meetings. Xi Jinping's comments to von der Leyen represent the first time he has disclosed such information to a foreign leader. He also mentioned that a conflict with the United States would devastate many of China's achievements and jeopardize his goal of realizing the Great Rejuvenation by 2049. Jude Blanchett, a China expert at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, believed that if Xi genuinely perceives the US as actively seeking conflict with China over Taiwan, it indicates that he is either in an information vacuum or receiving poor advice from his subordinates. This distortion in his decision-making environment could stem from his deputy's action or his own authoritarian behavior, both of which are deeply troubling. In response to Lai Ching-te's inauguration as Taiwan's president in May, China conducted extensive military exercise around the island, labeling Lai a dangerous separatist. Under the Taiwan Relation Act, Washington is committed to aiding Taiwan in its self-defense. Nevertheless, the Biden administration has consistently stressed that it does not support Taiwan's independence and opposes any unilateral alterations to the status quo. Here are my takeaways. Firstly, when Xi Jinping claims that the United States is trying to provoke China into attacking Taiwan, this manner of expression is consistent with his usual style, making unsubstantiated claims and twisting facts. You cannot take his literal words at face value. He often speaks in a way that distorts reality. For instance, a recent example gaining attention is that while China's internal economic management acknowledges overcapacity issues, Xi Jinping denies overcapacity outright. He even argues forcefully that exports are merely a result of overcapacity, claiming that every country experiences overcapacity. The concept of overcapacity is universally defined worldwide, but Xi Jinping forcefully twisted it to equate solely to exports, arguing, if you criticize me for overcapacity, then all of you must be guilty of overcapacity as well. This illustrates his tendency to distort facts and make unfounded assertions. Another instance, when criticized by the international community for his authoritarianism and the lack of democracy, Xi Jinping counters by claiming, I am the epitome of democracy. The more you accuse me of being undemocratic, the more democratic I become. My approach to democracy is comprehensive, surpassing anything you can achieve. Similarly, amidst the global condemnation of China's military threats and the provocations against Taiwan, he denies any wrongdoing and shifts blames to the United States, alleging it is the US that is actively provoking Taiwan, not China. They want me to engage in conflict with Taiwan. These examples highlight Xi Jinping's consistent strategy of distorting facts and blurring distinctions between right and wrong. Therefore, it is plausible that Xi Jinping made such statements. However, his remarks do not imply that Xi Jinping himself has no intention of attacking Taiwan or lacks such thoughts. It's characteristic of him to speak in this manner. Last year at the APEC summit in San Francisco, he appeared innocent and naive in front of Biden, saying, "You all say I want to attack Taiwan, but how come I don't know about such a thing? I am the sovereign leader serving for life. Why hasn't anyone informed me of this?" This was Xi Jinping intentionally pretending to be oblivious. Today's news follows a similar pattern. You say I want to attack Taiwan, but where is this coming from? It's actually the United States that desires conflict with Taiwan and is trying to manipulate me into it. He presents himself as an innocent figure while accusing the US of trying to ensnare him and lead him astray. Therefore, I believe this non-serious demeanor fits well with Xi Jinping's tendency to feign innocence and play dumb. Secondly, the perspective shared by American think tank expert Jude Blanchett is noteworthy. Xi Jinping is not a straightforward or simple personality. His character is multifaceted. He exhibits traits of feigning ignorance and manipulating perceptions, yet also shows elements of naivety and imperfection. As highlighted by Jude Blanchett, under the current authoritarian regime, Xi Jinping's decision-making environment has been distorted. He has come to believe in certain logics and narratives imparted by those around him. As dictators isolate themselves in a closed-off state of information, it becomes a predictable pattern, almost an inevitable fate. Firstly, they hold the belief that they possess unparalleled insight, capable of understanding and controlling everything. Secondly, they prefer to hear only positive news. Consequently, they become ensnared in a bubble of misinformation. Within this context of distorted information, I believe two phenomena simultaneously exist, both deserving of attention. The first phenomenon is a well-known concept, the information cocoon. Similar to a silkworm's cocoon, it weaves a web that isolates and restricts one's perspective. It selectively filters information, often leading to biases and narrow-mindedness. Despite the internet age and the availability of unrestricted information, some individuals' thinking remains constrained by these information cocoons. Hence, Xi Jinping's viewpoints likely rejects the influence of such an insulated information environment. The second phenomenon deserving attention is referred to as the resonance of well frogs. Unlike the information cocoon, which involves individuals selectively processing information to align with their preferences or established beliefs, the resonance of well frogs presents a unique scenario. Picture frogs in separate whales, each constrained by a limited view, yet collectively affirming each other's perspective. The phenomenon of well frog resonance is strikingly evident in China today. Imagine well frogs confined to viewing only the small patch of sky visible from their own well. When they communicate across wells with other well frogs, they quickly form a consensus limited by their narrow perspective and resonate with each other. For instance, if one well frog asserts that the sky is only as large as what they see at their well's mouth, others in different wells may agree, viewing it as unquestionable truth. This illustrates the concept of well frog resonance. In Chinese society, the resonance between CCP decision makers and the little pink nationalists can influence both parties. This phenomenon not only constrains people's thinking and perspective, but also has the potential to escalate the societal polarization, heightening social conflicts. Therefore, based on the report from the Financial Times, it is clear that Xi Jinping's decision-making risks are increasingly pronounced. Thirdly, according to reports and commentary from international mainstream media, there is an intriguing phenomenon. None of the reputable international media outlets interpret Xi Jinping's statement as a serious political assessment. Instead, they all treat Xi Jinping's disclosure as political gossip, with widespread mockery and derision. This observation raises interesting questions. Firstly, There is no doubt about the authenticity of this news. People believe Xi Jinping indeed made such remarks. If it were someone else, there might be skepticism about whether they would say such things to the EU President von der Leyen. However, in the international discourse on the explosive report by the Financial Times, there is a widespread belief that Xi Jinping is capable of making such remarks and taking such actions. This is an intriguing aspect of the situation. Next, Western public opinion primarily discusses Xi Jinping's perceived information cocoon, describing it as a state where he confines himself to a closed-off realm of information, particularly evident in his handling of the Taiwan issue. However, from the perspective of CCP culture and thinking, when comparing Xi Jinping's information cocoon, well-frog resonance, and his penchant for distorting facts and feigning ignorance, it seems more plausible that Xi Jinping intentionally manipulates perceptions and reverse truth. For instance, his claim of comprehensive democracy, despite knowing China lacks and doesn't need a democracy, reflects Xi Jinping's strategy to utilize Western discourse to assert superiority. This underscores Xi Jinping's cunning and manipulative nature. While I agree with the Western view that Xi Jinping operates within an information cocoon, this perspective is secondary to his deliberate strategy of distorting reality and playing dumb. The Financial Times article also emphasizes a crucial point. Xi Jinping's deliberate tactic of distorting facts and feigning ignorance serves to sow discord between Europe and the United States. With the US currently rallying Europe's support over Taiwan, Europe has indeed become more boldly involved in Taiwan-related issues in recent years. Xi Jinping's statement aims to achieve this by undermining consensus between the US and Europe. His insinuation is that the tension surrounding Taiwan is due to US efforts to provoke war, and he urges Europe not to fall for American deception. Therefore, from this perspective, it further strengthens the argument that Xi Jinping intentionally fabricates narratives portraying the US as setting traps to incite him into attacking Taiwan. If you agree with this assessment that Xi Jinping is resorting to cunning tactics, you might perceive him as even more formidable than imagined. When someone reaches such a morally ambiguous point, they are capable of anything and willing to deploy any means necessary. Xi Jinping is unafraid to portray himself in a vulnerable light, depicting himself as an innocent while accusing Biden of scheming against him to deceive and undermine him. This illustrates Xi Jinping's willingness to adopt any strategy to achieve his goals. Therefore, the impactful report by the Financial Times offers deeper insights into Xi Jinping. It's evident that people are not falling for Xi Jinping's narrative, as evidenced by the current public discourse. Thank you for watching. Please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.